Hello everyone, Ricky here, and welcome to another round of Jumpstart SFM. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how, when it comes to my methodology, how to create a green screen object within SFM. Now, I will clarify again, this is my methodology for how I do this. There might actually be a better method than what I'm showcasing right here. There might even be like a custom model that you can download from the SFM workshop, but I don't really care about that because, as I say, I'm used to how I do it, and I sort of share my method for doing this. So what you want to do first is you want to pop on Source Filmmaker. Alright, so this is the SFM right here, and you can kind of see I've already got a model up. I've already sort of like started doing this sort of thing just to remind myself. But this model right here is the SFM logo, and you can find this if you go into the add button, hit add, and create animation for new model. Let this thing appear, and search. If you search logo, it'll appear right here in a mod filter, TF movies. So there it is right here. This is the SFM logo, and as you can see, I've already loaded it into this map, which is actually GM flat grass, because that's what I use. Besides dark stage maps, I use this map because it's light. It's it's simplistic. It's just that sort of thing. It's very bare bones, so it's actually ideal for doing this sort of stuff. But once it's loaded in, you'll get the whole thing where a standard camera will load up alongside the workshop camera. So this is just, let me just demonstrate how that looks. So this is the main camera. This is the action that's going to be seen when you go to export the render or the animation, when you get to actually doing that sort of thing. That's what the stuff sees. The workshop camera is effectively like in real life if you were to do some sort of stage production, like maybe for drama class or something like that. If this is the camera, the workshop camera is effectively just you in the virtual space moving around. You can actually just, manipulate the set, get everything ready to hit action. This is effectively what you see right here. It's interesting because this model is actually like one-sided. If I go to behind it, it disappears. But you're probably wondering, Ricky, how does this turn into a green screen? I'm getting to that bit. What you want to do is you want to find where this model is located in the Steam folder. So how you do that is you go into local disk, or go to my computer, or this computer, local disk, and in my case there's a little bit more stuff going on because I have installed a lot more applications than you may have, or I've got different locations for some of my programs that you may not have on your machine. Regularly, if you don't have a lot of stuff on your computer that is weird like the stuff I have, you just have the baseline stuff like the program files folder, the program files x86 folder, users folder, which is where you store your personal stuff in, and the Windows folder. Do not touch that, that's important stuff. What you want to go into is if you install Steam to its default location, most cases it's going to be in the program files x86 folder, and you can see right here, there is Steam. Click on Steam, go into Steam apps, go to Common, go to Source Filmmaker, Game, and you'll be in the SFM folder. What you want to do after this, you want to go into TF movies, materials, not models, materials, because that's where the actual textures are installed. Click on that, and you want to hunt for where the logo is. In my case, I'm just going to be a little bit lazier here and search for logo. It's right here. So if we go back to here, we can see materials, models, logo. This is where that tile is installed. This is the texture for that, and you can see right here, this is the baseline texture. Alright, this is what the baseline texture looks like. Because I'll show you in just a second, but it's not just a simple graphic, it's literally a model with several different parts to it. I've actually added my own texture to this folder. What I like to do is I add my custom textures to the folder of the actual model itself. It makes things easier when it comes to actually addressing it within SFM. Thanks to a friend, I've now discovered you can just make a custom folder within, the main SFM thing. But this will be for like another time. I'll demonstrate this, how to do this another time, as I say. But here we are. This is effectively what the little texture is. It's simply just a little white tile. And I will leave a link to this in my Google Drive down below in the description if you want to use it yourself. And that's effectively already there. What we need to do is we want to go back into SFM. We want to right click on SFM logo 1, the model, and I've already done it, but what you'll see right here is add override materials. You want to click on add override materials. Next time you right click on it, it's going to say remove override materials. Once that's done, you want to go into show an element viewer, model, and you'll see the model listed there. And what you'll get, what that, add over materials does, it adds this little materials sort of drop down here. And within that, you'll get the SFM logo material that you can actually customize. And I've already went as far as to, add the baseline texture to it. But what we want to do is you want to right click on the SFM logo, go on to string, and type in my personal experience, it seems to be case sensitive, $, Basetexture, hit OK, and in some cases it should, in theory, work. Now, the reason why it's not working here, if I just actually clear this, I've actually just copied and pasted the actual address to this. If I clear that, this is what is supposed to happen. It becomes a sort of like what I refer to as purple soup. I'm in the Sims community, and this is effectively what we call it when models are broken and you get this sort of weird purple checkerboarding thing going on with the models. I call this purple soup. And this is what you get right here. Now what I do, this is the reason why I put custom textures into the folder. Something's in a subfolder. So say for instance, you've got your own personal OC, a Toy Bonnie OC like I do. I'll, in the Toy Bonnie folder that I use for the baseline model, Toy Bonnie, Ricky, and then my textures are in that folder. So subfolders are really good for that. So in the case for that, I've put in, Toy Bonnie, subfolder, whatever you have there. In my case, my White.vtf file is in the same folder as the main texture. So all I need to do right here is just copy and paste this text, models, / or / logo, / SFM logo. And what I can just do is just clear SFM logo and type in white. And it's there. And it's effectively done. Now, on its own, if you want to just use a white screen, you can do that. But the goal of this video is to demonstrate how to use a green screen. And the ideal thing about white textures is it's very easy to color white textures within SFM. And this is what I'm going to demonstrate right here. So if you right click on SFM logo again, add attribute, but this time don't click on string, but add color. Alright, so you click on color attribute. And this time, instead of Basetexture, you write in $ color. Alright, just like this, as I say, again, lowercase. Alright, so $ color, hit OK, becomes black. If it does that, you know you've done something right, because black is the default hex. Because when you click onto the actual color wheel right here, this is actually what this is. This is the color wheel. If you click on that, it defaults to 000 because black default 0 everything. And I can literally just color this. If I move my mouse around, you can actually see in real time on the screen the color of the SFM logo is actually changing. I'm going to try not to do it too fast. I don't want anyone who's got epilepsy, I don't want to be affected by it. There is a dedicated color, and I will leave the ref for the RGB for that down below, but there's a dedicated shade of green that is used for chroma keying. It's literally called Chroma Key Green. I will leave, as I say, a little string to that in the description down below, the RGB for that, alright? In my personal experience, this works the same way as well. I can just drag it up to green and just make it bright, so roughly around here. So in my case, it's RGB 0 red, 255 green, and 19 blue. That's RGB. And that seems to work pretty darn well for me in most cases. Alright, so we have a green scene. It's sort of just a green void when I get back into the main camera. Just a simple green void. And now I can, pause or even animate what I'm wanting to pose or animate. In front of this green screen, it's a little bit easier if you actually scale it up. So what I'll tend to do is I like to, give myself some space between the background being the green screen, the camera, and whatever action is going on between that. So I prefer to move this back. You can kind of see the problem with this, and then I like to scale up the model. So I'll click back onto SFM logo, and in the animations editor in this case, right click on that, expand the body section, and right click on root transform and add scale to transform, add scale control to transform. Okay, once that's done, I can then just scale it up. And it means that I can move the green screen back as far as I can put it, and it's still filling up the screen. That's what you want it to do. And then I can do whatever on the foreground. So I can actually add the model I want to chroma key out. So I'm going to actually demonstrate right now how to do this. Because I'm going to demonstrate how you can go around chroma keying and how it effectively works. So I'm going to just hunt for a random model. Let's get into the FNAF anniversary. So I'm just going to pick on a FNAF character. Maybe, I don't know, Freddy. Where is it? So if we go to here, here is the beloved Big Bear Boy in all his glory. So I'm just going to, I'm not even going to bother T-pose. I'm not going to bother posing. I'm just going to leave him T-posed because, you know, you like to insert his dominance. But here we are. So here is good old Freddy. Alright, so I'm just going to render this render as is. Now, I tend to raise the depth of field and motion blur because it makes things, if you've ever rendered things by default in SFM, you'll notice you get this sort of like crisp particling on the render. I don't like that. But I've also learned from a friend that's probably not the best to actually max it out because it makes rendering very, very laggy. It takes a little bit longer and you don't really see the benefit. So I've just learned to just make things lower. So in most cases, 128 override, 128 samples override for depth of field, and 64 samples for motion blur seems to do the trick. It still looks pretty okay for a render. All right, so I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm going to maybe add a little bit of lighting just because it just looks like the renders just a little bit dull. So I'm just going to add a little bit of lighting to Freddy a little bit. So I'm just going to adjust that quickly. You can maybe copy what I'm doing on the screen. I'm not going to explain too much of what I'm doing right here. It's just subtle little things I'm doing just to adjust it. I'm going to expand the horizon a little bit. Alright, so we have our little Freddy render right here, our little Freddy boy. And what we're going to do now is we're going to actually render it. So I'm just going to, you know, set it as a PNG because why not? I'm going to go into hunt for a folder to put this in. So I'm just going to put this into my pictures folder. I'm just going to call it Freddy. Export. And it's going to render. And it'll do its job. Alright, so the render is now finished. The picture is actually on your screen right here. So I'm just going to close off SFM because as far as I'm concerned, I'm finished. I'm going to close that off. And I'm going to open up my graphics editor, which I use paint.net. I am not exactly in favour of Adobe products right now. I've never used them, and quite frankly, I don't like the company. If you want something a little bit better, if you want to still do something a bit more professional, I would probably suggest the Affinity Suite by Serif. I'll leave a link to that down below as well. I am not sponsored or anything. I don't have, you know, I'm not exactly a big enough channel to be sponsored in the first place. Based on my own personal experience, I've used Serif products before. I've not paid for them yet, but I'm going to get to that point. But it's a lot cheaper than Adobe. You don't get forced to be on a subscription per month. And Serif, as far as the Affinity company, Serif, I think is just a little bit better for it. They've been recently bought by Canva, in my personal understanding of the company. They're actually a little bit nicer, kinder, better than Adobe. That being said, rambling aside, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Freddy render, I'm going to drag and drop it into paint.net. Paint.net, I consider it fine. If you can't afford the premium graphic suites, there is paint.net is free. You've got a GIMP. So much for the unfortunate name. You've got that as well if you want it. Pretty decent enough suites you can use for this. Alright, so here's Freddy. And I have a couple of mods installed into paint.net that allow me to actually remove the green screen. It's called Chroma Key. So I'm just going to, should I use Chroma Key? I'm going to try using the basic Chroma Key setting first. And already you can see it's doing a terrific job of removing the green screen. So that is effectively that. Now you might see a little bit of crusty particling going on, but you won't really notice that too much. But it does do the job pretty darn well. So there you go, that is effectively the Chroma Key going on, and I can just hit save on that. And now I've got a transparent PNG of a T-posing Freddy. There you go, that is effectively how you go on doing that. Alright friends, so besides me choking a little bit on my coffee, that's effectively it for how to make a PNG, make a Chroma Key with an SFM, and also a sub tutorial on how to make a PNG of a T-posing Freddy. There you go. I hope you found that interesting. I hope you found that helpful in some ways, and if you did, I would love it if you would show that you found this helpful by leaving a like on the video, comment down below. If you have questions, you want me to clarify something that I might have not clarified too well in this video, feel free to comment down below your questions. If you're new to this channel and you want to see other stuff that I don't just do this series. I do a guys mod series by the name of Jump on Gmod. That is where I do a lot of wacky things with friends and such. I'm currently on episode 1. I'm editing a couple of new episodes, and I'm also doing other stuff as well. I'm doing a lot of let's plays of indie games that I find on itch.io and Game Jolt and stuff channel. I also do animations in SFM. I've got one coming out soon that's almost finished, so if you want to see that, subscribe to the channel, because I would love to have you on the channel as well. That being said, guys, until next time, I hope you all have a very lovely rest of your day. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye now.